Is this basically a done deal?
Yeah, pretty much there. He's completed his medical. We're expecting this deal to be announced today. In terms of what we know about this deal, it's a loan with an option to buy. Liverpool can buy Ronald Araújo for £47.14 million if they deem this loan spell successful. It comes at a time of great need for Liverpool when it comes to what they've got in centre-back areas right now. Delighted to have Virgil van Dijk following his World Cup break back in the starting 11 for the pre-season game of the weekend. But when you consider the injuries they've got in that area of the pitch, Joe Gomez currently out, Leone, who they signed last summer, a lot of excitement around his signing, he's still missing, and Jeremy Jacquet, who they agreed a deal to sign in January, he's not yet ready to play, though. Andoni Iraola said he should be in line to play in their next pre-season game ahead of the start of the Premier League season. So this is a real boost to bring in a player with clearly a lot of European experience, someone who's won a lot with Barcelona. Now Liverpool bringing him with an option to buy, so it feels like they've got all the options on the table if this is to be successful.
Yeah, interesting to see how he gets on. What can Liverpool fans expect from their new defender? Well, European football expert Kevin Hatchard was on Transfer Talk at lunchtime and gave us the lowdown.
I can understand why Liverpool fans wonder what they're going to get, but if they get the best version of Araújo, you're talking about a top player that's made for the Premier League physically, and I think can draw on that experience. Yes, he gets caught out of position now and again. Yes, he makes mistakes. A lot of players do. But I think if they can get anywhere near his best, this is a really positive signing. There's a lot of upside. Liverpool don't have to sign him at the end of it, so they can look at him and see if it's going to work for them. They're very conscious, I think, of not blocking either Leone or Jacquet in the long run. So this makes a lot of sense, I think.
So, are Liverpool done there, or does attention turn to strengthening elsewhere in the squad, Ben?
Well, look, we know they're in the market for a wide player. Mo Salah's departure leaves a huge hole, doesn't it, in the squad. So they're exploring options. The man they're being linked with heavily, of course, Bradley Barcola. Now, this would obviously be a huge signing this summer. And sounds like it will have to be a huge signing if it's going to go through, because PSG are demanding £145 million for Barcola. That's where we are with this deal, and that's why at the moment it feels like it's going to be a very difficult deal to do. Now, we know that preliminary talks have taken place between Liverpool and the players' representatives. We know they have explored a deal with Paris Saint-Germain, but that £145 million price tag seems prohibitive. Liverpool would need that to come down quite a lot, you feel, for this move to be done in the summer. But as I say, it's an area they need to strengthen. Mo Salah's leaves a big hole in the squad. But Andoni Iraola, he is a man, as we saw, at Bournemouth. He plays with a high press. He demands such a huge amount of work from his players. They will need wide men to cover yards. They'll need squad rotation. Champions League football as well will be a real balancing act, you'd imagine. Liverpool definitely need reinforcements there.
Yeah, big concerning over the weekend was he said he can only run for about 30 minutes at the moment in terms of the intensity. And this spend as well, James, it's down on the rivals, isn't it? Does this reflect last summer, or do you think there will be some money to spend now?
Well, they spent a lot of money last summer, didn't they? Bringing in the likes of Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz in deals worth more than £100 million. So far, they've been pretty slow when it comes to what they've done in this transfer window. Clearly, Arne Slot departing the football club was something they did very late on at the end of the season. That was not an expectation. So that maybe put them back somewhat when it came to their plans for the future. Hugo Ekitike is still out for the start of this season. It does look a little bit threadbare when it comes to their forward options and the strength and depth they have. As Ben rightly says, there's going to be a lot of games this season, especially in the Champions League as well. And you look at that squad right now, despite the amount of money they spent last summer, it doesn't look quite ready to be a side that you would think should be competing to win silverware this year.
It needs a lot of energy, doesn't it? And James, we should talk about the proposed investment at Anfield. Surely that will help the transfer budget in the future, or is it that simple?
It's not that simple, because we are unsure what the long-term ambition is going to be when this is ratified. In terms of what we know, this is an exclusive from Sky News, a consortium including that man there, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. They're closing in on a deal to buy roughly a third of Liverpool. Now, he's part of the investor group. When you look at those involved in this investor group, it includes a trio of the world's wealthiest individuals, which is clearly very exciting. And in terms of Bezos, his fortune estimated by Forbes to be over $280 billion. And this would be his first investment in football. Now, it will lead to questions if this consortium are buying a third of the club, whether their long-term ambition will be to buy Liverpool outright. Because we've not heard from Jeff Bezos and his investor group, we shouldn't speculate as to what the future is going to be. But clearly, there are question marks around where Liverpool is heading as a football club right now. In terms of what we've seen in recent time, Michael Edwards, the head of football at FSG, he's departed. There's a lot of speculation that Richard Hughes, the sporting director at Liverpool, made a part following this transfer window as well. And Araújo has just come in as manager. Clearly, there's a real period of transition for Liverpool right now. But we do need to be careful. Liverpool fans will hope this means plenty of business, plenty of money invested in the football club. But there is, I guess, speculation and uncertainty around what this means for FSG's involvement long-term in Liverpool. But it could be very exciting when you consider that some of the money involved. We wait to see what Jeff Bezos and this investor group plan to do with Liverpool Football Club. Because clearly this investment will mean they want to make money from it. But clearly Liverpool fans will hope this means some silverware as well and prosperous times ahead. Yeah,
and important to be cautious, you say, because FSG have had so much success, won the lot in the past decade or so. Let's move on to...
we talk of Bradley Barcola. I mean, we've talked about him more than any other player during this transfer window. Any news or update on that?
Can't say there's any major updates. We know that they've held preliminary talks for PSG over the signing of Barcola. At the moment, it feels like that sticking point is the price fee. Over 100 million, has been quoted from PSG for Barcola. At the moment, that makes it seem like a difficult deal to do. And look, if we look at this graphic here about how much Liverpool have spent, considerably less than some of their tops and some of their big six, I should say, rivals. I guess you have to put it into context, don't you? Because if you look at someone like Chelsea, 117 million pounds of that is on Morgan Rogers. And if Liverpool were to do the signing of Barcola, already they go above Manchester City and Arsenal in that respect. That's the nature of the transfer window we're in now with these kind of £100 million moves. But yeah, Liverpool fans, especially after the season they had last season, will want to see them spend. Obviously, they've brought in Jeremy Jacquet, Victor Manouz as well. But I think now it's like you said, they've done the defensive work. Now it's what they can do in the attacking part of the pitch, especially with Mohamed Salah having left.
Do you think Liverpool need Barcola, or do they need to strengthen elsewhere?
I think the one they needed is maybe gone in Yan Diomande going to Real Madrid. He's the one
they wanted as well.
Felt like the perfect fit. Yeah, and look, I can understand why they shrank away from some of those numbers, and then PSG got involved, and then Real Madrid in the end swooped in and got the player. But you look at Barcola, he has incredible pace. He has creative ability, which I think is underplayed a bit sometimes. I think he needs to be an absolute lock in the starting 11 for somebody. He feels like a really good fit for Arsenal to me.
I was going to say, if it's not Liverpool, where do you see him playing this summer?
Yeah, because they need an upgrade on that left-hand side, and I think he'd absolutely be that for them. It would balance out the team so they're not as reliant on Saka down that right-hand side, just balances up that front three. I think he's a tremendous player. But he's been stuck behind Kvaratskhelia, he's been stuck behind Dembele. He isn't that regular starter, but he's got enormous potential.
Is there any danger, Kevin, of PSG maybe losing value on Barcola, letting him stay for another season, playing second fiddle to Kvaratskhelia, Doué again? Do you think they're quoting too much money?
No, I think they're relaxed probably because of the deals they've already done, because Gonzalo Ramos moved on for big money. So they've already sold Kang-in Lee. So they've got the money so they can afford to say to Liverpool or Arsenal, make a big bid and let's see if we can do that deal.
I mean, look at Liverpool's squad depth here and where he could fit in. You've got the likes of Cody Gakpo there, someone that maybe underwhelmed slightly last season.
And there have been, of course, stories that he may be moving on from Liverpool this summer as well.
Yeah, I think Gakpo could do really well under Iraola. I really do. I think he's the kind of player that fits his system. Rio and Gamora, I think they've got to be really careful not to block, because he's a phenomenal talent. He has to play. He's been playing on the right at times for Liverpool in pre-season. But I'd like to see him off that left-hand side. So the Barcola thing is an odd fit for me.
And what's interesting as well is on that squad depth we just saw, and we saw with the amount they've spent this summer, what they spent last summer was huge. We saw Florian Wirtz arriving, didn't we? And maybe didn't see the best of him when you looked at what he did at Leverkusen the year before. How excited are you to see him, second season, under Iraola, about what he can do? Because he dominated games in Germany the year that he played under Xabi Alonso.
I'm still really excited about him. I think there were flashes last season of the player that he can be. He was in a team that was struggling.
This was his goal from yesterday.
Yeah, and this is the kind of area that he can be in.